Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the English You Never Learned podcast.
The podcast where we talk about real-life English, helping you improve your speaking skills and feel confident using English every day.
Yes, that's right. No boring grammar rules here, just real conversations that you can actually use. I'm Emma.
And I'm Leo. So, how's everything going today, Emma?
I'm doing great, Leo, but I've been thinking a lot lately about how important speaking is when it comes to mastering English.
Oh, I totally agree. Sometimes I get messages from learners saying they're frustrated because they study grammar, vocabulary, and watch videos, but they still don't feel confident speaking English.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's because speaking is the real key to fluency. When you speak English every day, you're not just learning, it's like you're building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
That's such a great point. And today, we're going to talk all about how every time you speak English, you're one step closer to mastery. It's all about consistency, practice, and yes, making mistakes along the way.
Yes, and I've seen it in my own life too. When I first started learning English, I would study and memorize words, but it wasn't until I actually started speaking every day that I noticed the biggest improvements. And I know Leo's been through this too.
Oh, absolutely. When I first learned Spanish, I was obsessed with grammar and vocabulary. I had hundreds of flashcards and watched a ton of videos, but I didn't speak enough. And guess what? My progress was really slow. But when I started speaking regularly, it changed everything.
I feel the same way. The first time I tried speaking with native speakers, I was so nervous. I knew the words, but I didn't know how to put them together fast enough. But once I got over that fear and started speaking more, it felt like my brain unlocked a whole new level of understanding.
Exactly. And that's what we want to talk about today, why speaking every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, can make all the difference in your journey to fluency. So, let's dive into it, shall we?
Definitely. And before we go any further, we'd love for you to do us a quick favor. If you enjoy this episode, please like it, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's learning English. It really helps us reach more learners like you.
Yes. Now, let's talk about how speaking every day can lead to mastery. First of all, speaking helps you get comfortable with the language. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. You start thinking in English, and that's when the real magic happens.
Yes. I remember when I first started speaking to myself in English, it felt a little awkward at first, but over time, I started feeling more comfortable. It became second nature, and soon I was thinking in English without even realizing it.
And the more you speak, the more words and phrases you learn. You start to connect what you know in your head with what you say out loud. It's like putting pieces of a puzzle together. The more you speak, the clearer the picture becomes.
Exactly. And you know what else? Speaking helps with your pronunciation. You can watch videos, listen to podcasts, and read books, but nothing beats actually speaking the words yourself. It helps you understand how to move your mouth and produce sounds in a way that feels natural.
Right. I remember practicing pronunciation with tongue twisters when I was learning Spanish. It was tough at first, but the more I practiced speaking, the easier it became. And eventually, I started to sound more natural. It's all about practice.
That's such a great point. Speaking helps you hear your mistakes too, and that's a good thing. Mistakes are part of learning, right? The more you speak, the more you can correct yourself and improve over time. Plus, native speakers don't care about your mistakes. They appreciate your effort to speak.
Yes. And let's talk about how speaking helps you build confidence. You can study grammar and vocabulary for hours, but until you start speaking, you won't really know how much you've learned. Once you start using what you've learned, you feel more confident in your abilities.
That's right. For example, I used to be terrified of speaking on the phone in English. I'd put it off thinking, what if I don't understand? What if I make a mistake? But after a few phone calls, I realized it wasn't as scary as I thought. And now, I can have a conversation with confidence.
I had the same experience. I used to be nervous about speaking in public in Spanish, but the more I practiced, the more confident I became. And you know what? That confidence translates into every other area of learning. You start to believe that you can actually do it, and that makes a huge difference.
It really does. And here's the best part. When you speak every day, you start to notice progress faster than you think. It's like small victories adding up over time. You might not notice it in the moment, but when you look back after a few weeks, you'll be amazed at how much you've improved.
Yes, and you don't have to start big. Just a few minutes of speaking each day can make a huge difference. I like to compare it to going to the gym. You don't need to lift the heaviest weights right away. You just need to keep showing up, and over time, you'll get stronger.
That's such a good analogy. And speaking is the same way. It doesn't matter if you're having a long conversation or just practicing for a few minutes. The important thing is to do it every day. Even on the days when you're tired or don't feel like it, just show up and speak.
Exactly. And when you speak every day, you start to see things in English. You'll be walking down the street or cooking dinner, and suddenly, you'll find yourself thinking in English or hearing English words in your mind. That's when you know you're really starting to internalize the language.
Yes, it becomes part of your daily life. And speaking regularly helps you break through any plateaus you might be facing in your learning. If you're stuck at a certain level, speaking is the key to moving past it.
I love that. And speaking of breaking through plateaus, let's talk about how to make sure you're speaking every day. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can start by setting a small, achievable goal.
Exactly. For example, you could aim to speak for just 5 minutes a day. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just talk to yourself, describe what you're doing, or even repeat things you hear in podcasts or movies.
I started by speaking for just 5 minutes a day when I was learning Spanish. It felt small at first, but after a few weeks, I noticed I was speaking more naturally and fluently. And now, I don't even think about it. It's just a part of my routine.
That's exactly how it works. Start small and then increase your speaking time gradually. And don't worry if you're not perfect at first. You'll get better with time, and every mistake is just another opportunity to learn.
So true. And if you're looking for ways to practice, there are so many ways to get speaking practice every day. You can find a language partner, join a language exchange group, or even use apps that let you talk to people around the world.
Absolutely. I've also found that speaking to myself is a great way to practice. I'll talk about my day, describe what I'm doing, or even give myself a mini monologue. It might feel strange at first, but it really helps.
Yes, I agree. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And if you can, try to speak in different situations like ordering food, asking for directions, or making small talk. The more variety, the better.
And don't forget to celebrate the small wins. Every time you speak, even if it's just a few words, you're making progress. Celebrate that, because that's how you stay motivated.
Absolutely. So, to recap, the more you speak, the more comfortable you become. Speaking helps with pronunciation, vocabulary, and confidence. It also helps you make progress faster and move past plateaus. And all it takes is a few minutes every day to start seeing big improvements.
Yes, and remember, it's not about being perfect. The key is to speak every day, make mistakes, and keep learning. You're getting one step closer to mastery with every conversation.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who's learning English. We'd love to hear how speaking every day has helped you too.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. This was the English You Never Learned podcast. Until next time, keep speaking and keep learning.
Bye, everyone.